So Dream released a new video concerning the Dream SMP on his DreamXD channel, and there's a lot of things going on in that video, so let me just explain real quick. So in the first scene, it's just Dream and Punz talking about if the revival book works or not. And this has to be obviously after Schlatt gave them the revival book in return for Dream and Greater Dream SMP helping out Schlatt in the L'Manberg-Pogtopia War. This scene isn't directly after Schlatt gave him the book, and that's because they had to fight in the Manberg-Pogtopia War. So this has to be after Wilbur died, because once Wilbur was dead, they rebuilt L'Manberg, and then he exiled Tommy, and then stuff like that happened. So it has to be during the time where they were rebuilding L'Manberg. That's when Punz and Dream went on to do what they do in this video. So in the second scene, you can kind of see Dream basically talking about kind of how he needs to find someone to kill, and once they die, they can never come back. So he was talking about Filza, which was just more of a joke, but they ended up settling on Laser Beam and Vicstar. Now this is mainly because they never appear in any lore, so they're kind of not important anymore. Now they are, so that's basically what's going on over here. Nothing too difficult. But this is where the whole theory part comes in, because the thing is, Dream doesn't actually have any lives, and this is because he lost 2 of them to Tommy when it was the Dream SMP finale and everyone turned on Dream and stuff like that, and he lost 1 to him in the railway skirmish, which people can't come to think if it was actually losing a life, but since it was canon, it technically should count. Therefore, Dream somehow has more than 3 lives, or he somehow found a way to be immortal. And this is exactly what's happening in the second scene. Basically, Punz and Dream are chasing Vic and Laser Beam to like a secret laboratory, and once they get there, Dream pulls out his axe, indicating that he's gonna kill them. So that's what's going on over there, pretty simple. But the next scene is the biggest, because they are killing them in different ways. You can see them trying to kill them with fireworks, which Technoblade usually does, or kill them with an anvil, which Technoblade almost died with. And what they're actually looking at is, since Technoblade is one of the few people who's never lost a life, they're trying to find a way to make themselves immortal. And this is exactly how Dream actually has 4 or more lives, because he can't technically die. So in this next scene, Punz looks at a book, which is on a lectern, and then he looks back to where he was looking. My theory is that this is a revival book, which instantly means that Punz knows how to revive people, and that basically makes Dream immortal, because as long as Punz is alive, Dream can always be revived and go do whatever he wants to do. As long as Punz doesn't turn on him, Dream is technically immortal for now. Now, once they've killed them each times, and then they're both gone from like the little testing facility, Dream throws a book in the lava, which could be the revival book, and then they appear back, which immediately could indicate that they need to sacrifice something that they need, or something that's important, that has value, to bring people back to life. And this theory mainly comes from a guy named Animagician, but what he said is basically, the theory is that the book is connected to Rambo, and Rambo actually only had 1 life when he was killed by Sam, because 2 of the lives were used to revive Tommy and Wilbur. Therefore, once Rambo was killed during the escape of the prison, Rambo lost all his lives. But however, now that Rambo's a ghost, this means one of 2 things. Either now there's infinite revival, which means death doesn't matter because ghosts have infinite lives, or now the book has to find kind of like a new host, someone else who's willing to give up their lives, or being forced to give up their lives, just so they can revive other people in the SMP. So in the next scene, Dream and Rambo are together, kind of somewhere, and Dream sends a smiley face in the chat. There's actually a scene where Sapnap says to Rambo, Dream has a message for you, shows him the smiley face, and Rambo immediately leaves. Now this kind of indicates that Rambo and Dream aren't exactly friends, and this can be backed up by the fact that Dream let Rambo die when they were escaping the prison, and he didn't stop Sam from killing him because he cared about himself more than Rambo. Now this is most likely just a mutual friendship, which they're just doing for personal benefit. They don't really care about each other, and this can easily be told because when Rambo's the only person on the screen, you can see in the background TNT being blown up by an invisible person, and this could be Rambo blowing up TNT on top of the prison when Tommy was on his final visit, just so Tommy would get stuck in there, and then Dream could do whatever he wanted to do with Tommy, kill him, and then show him whatever he needed to do. And he was invisible, so Sam wouldn't catch him, and Sam wouldn't be able to identify him and stuff like that. And this is actually a pretty good theory, because when Sam arrested Rambo, he was very vague about it. He just said, you know what you did, and he took Ranboo in the prison and he locked him up in there, which could indicate that Sam somehow found out that Ranboo was the person who blew up the TNT on top of the prison. So he was locked up in prison, and then he died because Sam killed him when they were escaping. Now, how is this beneficial to Ranboo? Well, Ranboo simply just asked Dream to infinitely revive him, to give him infinite life, and Dream agreed on this because he knew that he needed to control Tommy more, and just to give up a few lives for Ranboo wouldn't really matter because he could just take the lives from someone else. And although this theory doesn't have that much backing up, one of the main things is when Ranboo died and he was talking to Phil and Tommy when Tommy was scared because Dream had just chased him, he specifically told them he used to be scared of death, and now that he's a ghost, he's no longer scared because, well, he's dead. Which indicates that he was very paranoid about dying, so he wanted to not die ever. So he just asked Dream, can you revive me if I ever do lose all 3 of my lives? Without knowing the fact that he was only on 1 life. Now, in this final scene, you can see Bad Boy Halo giving Ranboo some blueprints or something like that. It's hard to see that it's Ranboo, but once you line up the skins, it's pretty simple to tell that it indeed is Ranboo. And what's basically going on here, according to me, is this is pre-Tommy's last visit. Bad Boy Halo is giving the blueprints to Ranboo, so Ranboo can blow up the top of the prison, so Tommy gets stuck where Dream is, and then Dream can kill Tommy, show him death, and stuff like that. This indicates that Bad is actually working with Dream still, and they're still friends and allies and stuff like that. And this has to be pre-Ranboo's death, because if it's after, then we obviously haven't seen this, and there's no good reason for him to have blueprints of the prison. So this theory is still a little vague, so let me basically tell the entire story. Dream and Punz have been allies since the beginning. This was very hard to construct together because there are times where Dream and Punz were just completely against each other, but let me explain. So basically, when it was the Dream SMP finale, and when Dream was going to kill Tubbo because he thought of him as a pawn, and then he was going to lock Tommy in the prison, Punz comes out of the nether portal with the entire Dream SMP army, specifically stating, Dream, you should have paid me more. Although it just sounds like a joke, it actually is much more than that. See, what's going on is Dream specifically told Punz that he was going to bring Tommy and Tubbo down to this room, show them the discs, and then kill Tubbo and then lock Tommy in prison. He wanted Punz to bring everyone else from the Dream SMP to there so they could imprison Dream. Now why would Dream want this to happen is because he wanted to show Tommy death, and he knew that if he had just killed him right there, he wouldn't get the same experience from it, or he needed to be locked in prison to do certain things to get more control on the SMP. So basically Punz walks in and then he makes up a random excuse to look like he's on everyone else's side, and then they corner Dream, Tommy kills him twice, and then they lock him in the prison. Now what's the theory with this? Well, Dream tortures Sam in the prison. He gets a couple visits from Tommy, from Bad Boy Halo, from Sapnap, and from other people, and he makes them have pity on him, so once he's eventually released, people will actually like him. However, he instead decides that he's going to kill Tommy and then make him revived so he could show him how scary Wilbur is now. Then he can revive Wilbur by getting Ghostbur in there. And then once Wilbur is revived, he can somehow have Techno break him out of the prison because Techno still owes him a favor. In reality, Dream and Punz have been allies since the entire time. Punz even gave him armor once Dream escaped because Techno took his armor back. And all these things, they're all connected. Dream and Punz have been working together to manipulate the entire server, and Dream might be the strongest person, but Punz isn't far behind because, as we saw, Punz might know how to revive people, and that makes Dream and Punz both immortal. But that's it, that's my theory basically. It's still got a lot of loose ends to it, and it's not 100% perfect, but it sounds very plausible, and most of these things probably actually happened pre all this stuff. And since at the end it says Dream is out, it basically indicates that this stuff happened before and now Dream is out of the prison and now he's going to do more.